Oh, is that the video? Yeah.
There you go.
All right, it's 6:32 on Wednesday, January 29th. Call the January meeting of the Groveland Board of Health to order. First item on the agenda is review of minutes from November 21st. Has everybody had a chance to read those minutes?
No. Sorry.
To review them. Yeah, just have one correction. The second agenda item is approval of the minutes for September 26th, 2021, 24. Yeah.
He's so good, dude.
So make a motion to approve the minutes with just that one amendment.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Second item on the agenda is to discuss bylaw changes.
So I've been working on updating a lot of the bylaws. And plus working with Sam to come up with a animal control bylaw along with probably a chicken bylaw or fowl bylaw as well. So
Okay.
we've been trying to do updates on that. And then plus I've been going through the other regs just to see what needs to be updated, because they've been in now for such a long time, so.
Do we have a draft of the bylaw or do you have something in mind?
Yeah,
Chickens?
I have, I've been going, actually looking at what other people have for bylaws and then trying to go through theirs. And then I've discussed some of this with Sam to see like how we can approach this, like put a limit on the number of chickens. No roosters.
That's gonna be a problem, right? This
Yeah,
roosters are down already.
there are some places that already have roosters, but, yeah, so I mean, then there's that now, are we talking grandfathering, if they already had roosters, but you can't have any more?
Yeah.
So, I don't have a draft yet, because we've been going back and forth, and then the same with the animal one. We were talking about, because Sam does, stable, inspections, and so we were talking about like, how many horses, size of the lots
Right.
for what animals that you can have, so that's what we've been working on with that too. So as soon as I have some idea of something, I'll send it to both of you for your input to see what you want to have.
I'd like to say right now is I hope there's not any big changes for the residents to have to deal with because of the research and opinions that you end up coming up with.
I don't think there'd be any big changes,
All right.
but I think all we're looking at is, we've had a number of complaints with chickens. I mean, there's not much you can do, but we can ask that people keep them on their own property. We've had complaints with chickens wandering around, onto other people's property. And roosters, we've had complaints about roosters too.
Still again,
I think roosters is an easy one, to be honest with you.
yeah, I know,
Most,
roosters are vicious.
They
Yeah,
are.
but it's really the noise. A lot of places, don't allow roosters outright.
Right, yeah, I have come across.
I'm getting educated by what you're talking about too,
Yeah.
so I don't know what to be.
Yeah, a lot of.
I just don't want any really big changes.
Yeah, a lot of people have, the only reason you would have roosters is really for if you wanted to
make more chickens.
exactly. But yeah, but they make a lot of noise. They start, early,
I know.
doing pretty much all day long.
Right.
So, but, and yeah, they
Yeah.
can be vicious and some people even like roosters because they kind of protect the flocks a little bit, but
Not really.
yeah,
I had that thought.
but they don't.
They're all
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
They're all gone. And we let them roam around, unfortunately. They're all gone.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so that's what I've been
Did you
trying.
give any thought to, limiting the number based on the size of the lot of the land?
We
you know.
haven't, but we figured that, but when it was Sam and I I was doing some research and I saw that a lot of places have a bylaw limiting the amount of chickens, and a lot of them were 6. I don't
Yeah.
know how, or who came up with that number, but
Right.
I have seen a lot of different
Right.
towns that have bylaws and they limit it. So,
Okay.
anyway,
It's interesting.
it is to see what other towns have and just trying to, pick what would work here.
Right,
right.
So that's what,
Well, that's all based on the complaints and stuff you've had too, right?
correct, yes,
All
yeah,
right.
that,
That's
that's
what's driving this.
right. And right now we have no bylaw with regard to that, so,
Right.
but anyway, I just wanted to let you guys
Thanks,
know that
Rose.
we were doing that.
Okay. All right, agenda item 3, review the budget in preparation for upcoming meeting schedule of the finance committee on February 26th.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Quick fun.
I think it's pretty straightforward. Not a whole lot of movement in the budget.
No. No, we can't do much else, so.
Is there a list somewhere where, other than just one lump figure, what our expenses are?
No, it never has been.
No, it's just one lump number.
Okay, sorry I said that.
No, I mean, it's a good question, but I
I
think,
can provide one next year.
No, you don't have to. We don't need to change
I
that.
think,
Could probably
Unless he wants it.
it's office supplies, I think is one of them. The
Charts.
shops
Yep,
program is is another one that comes out of that.
Nobody else would ask us anything about that. That's.
I don't know.
Okay, good.
Like certain renewals.
Yeah.
right,
License,
right.
$15 for,
clinical,
$3,500.
Webinars.
no, it's not.
Yeah, right.
No.
I think I did the webinar on the ADUs. I put in
Yeah.
for that and,
Yep.
renewal of MHOA.
Yep.
But I think that was about it, right?
I really think you two ladies getting your own work phones is a good idea. I really do that. I think that's good.
Yep.
As long as you get the brand you want to get.
Yep, I will definitely ask
There's no
about that,
reason not to get the brand you want to get.
right? And, yep. So that's pretty much it for what we're spending.
my compliments on the formatting.
Review of the annual report will be submitted by Friday, January 31st.
I also printed it in the format that it will have when it goes into the
Yeah.
town report. Through ClearGov, which is Rebecca will compile everyone's and then I printed it that way so you could see what it looks like.
Yep, oh, it looks good.
Thank you.
So,
Wow, it's just for basically 2 months.
you're skipping ahead things.
No. You said 11, 22, 24 to 129. That's December and January, basically.
Yeah, well, because all the septic hauls, the septic company came in for permitting. So
So it looks good this time of year because we have
that's
it.
the income.
Oh.
That's what we took in.
Yeah, but it's just from then to then, right?
Yeah, because I was told that you guys like to see it between from the last meeting to now.
Okay,
No?
thanks. I learned something too. Last meeting till now, okay, cool.
So that's just the income we received from the last meeting until today.
Yeah.
So where does that money go? General account?
General, yes, general fund.
Okay.
But yeah, so we have, a lot of the installers and the haulers all renew January 1st. So that's why there's,
And it's a yearly?
it is a yearly renewal. Yes, right.
Good.
The majority of them do. I think we've had, pretty much everybody did. I think there's only a few people that didn't renew.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Are they retiring?
No, a lot of them wait until they get a job. And they,
Oh, yeah.
but as long as they've been,
Current.
right, as long as it's a yearly
Oh,
thing
yeah,
that
it
they
doesn't
do,
go
yeah,
by.
yeah, no,
Right.
because it's expensive for a lot of these guys because have multiple towns that they work in.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so then you figure this is what's costing them in every town, so
Yeah,
it
right.
gets to be
Makes a
a
lot of
little bit of
sense.
expensive. So that's why some of them wait until they get a job and then they'll
Okay.
come in and renew.
But the majority did renew.
Yeah, they did, yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
we had a pretty good response and, so Melanie had sent them all out with, because we had emails for everybody, so, or pretty much everybody, so,
Did you up that fee?
no,
Is
not
this a fee
on,
You didn't up?
yeah, no, that's one of the ones we didn't,
Good.
we didn't change that last year. Woo,
Out there.
Has been.
I know.
All right.
The,
Any questions or concerns about the annual report? Hmm? Item number 5, public health nurse update. Okay, well,
We're pretty much across the board in a moderate status. Those tests that are positive and a little sick that aren't getting tested. So it's pretty heavy moderate across for flu, COVID, RSV, and norovirus is kicking up a storm right now.
I was gonna say, how's that going?
Well, I haven't gotten it, so that's
I did,
a lot.
I meant, yeah, I had it at the beginning of the month personally.
Oh, geez.
It didn't sweep through my house, but a couple of us had it. Are you getting a lot of reports of norovirus?
They don't report it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get, comments
So,
in newspaper
Yeah.
and running into people and they're going, whoa, what's with that norovirus? So after 3 days, people feel a lot better, but they get pretty sick for 3.
Yeah.
So all I can say is wash your hands and
That's all you can do. Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard any issues with the, absenteeism in schools or anything, so I think it's,
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
not bad.
Yeah, really.
yeah,
Down
adults are getting hit.
Salem and the North Shore, we've heard quite a bit, actually.
Uh,
Yeah.
um,
It's not like noro, but just sickness in general.
Yeah, the respiratory component of hospitalizations has been about 18%, which is still pretty high.
Yeah.
We are seeing about 25 deaths a month statewide from COVID, which is still too high.
Yeah.
wow.
But, and I would remind people, it's not too late for vaccinations. We'll be seeing this into the spring again. So, there's plenty out there. COVID, Massachusetts is about 19% of the population has COVID vaccinated. Flu is only 37 and RSV is 33 and 75 and old, 75-year-olds and older.
Yeah.
So it's not a good response to an opportunity to, if you were to get the disease, to minimize the complications of it and the hospitalization. But that's all you can do is just lead people to, there's plenty of it and it's free pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I strongly encourage people to consider vaccination.
Still shows the hesitancy.
Yeah. Along those lines, we did have, I haven't seen you guys in a while, with meetings and changes in the office. We held 2 multi-vaccine clinics in October, over at the Public Safety Building, and it was hosted by us and the Rite Aid Pharmacy up in Salem, up in, Plastow. A guy named Dante, who I love, the pharmacist, was terrific. I'd like to thank the fire department and the on-call fireman who was there as backup for us if anything had gone down. And that was excellent. Everything went well and it didn't cost us anything. So we did successfully finish that.
How many vaccines? Any?
It wasn't good.
Really?
Yeah. And I kept I have a record of it. I'll be talking with the Council on Aging next year. Is there anything we can do, you know, ramp it up somehow? The people that came loved it.
Yeah,
October is a good time to give it.
yeah. I know. I'm just wondering if you get a better participation because the seniors like to get it in as soon as it rolls out in
Yeah.
August, you know?
The only other thing I can think to do is open it up to, not restrict it necessarily to seniors,
Yeah.
but open it up.
Right.
And I'm not sure at this point how much of a response, but I mean, I could handle a couple hundred
Yeah.
easily per clinic. So I'm not sure Dante would like that, but he'll bring more people with him. But I think that it might be worthwhile to explore that. It was very easy to do work with them. We have a pharmacy up in North Andover, Laterno, who's been in touch with Council on Aging and myself. They very much would like to participate in free clinics. They will come, it won't cost us anything kind of thing. So maybe I could get two people going,
Right.
you know, two groups going and maybe host a little bit more. But I wasn't sure what the money end was gonna be and it turned out to be, it was a wash. It was great.
Right.
So,
Laternos do COVID and flu or
they'll do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same way they were offering RSV, they were offering, we could bring in Zoster if they needed the Pneumovaxes,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So that's why it was multi. He had a whole chest of everything that people asked for. So we gave, I think, 3 different kinds was the big thing. So it was a nice working relationship. The facility was excellent. They had spotless for us. Thank you, Chief. And, so I'm optimistic that maybe next year we could maybe expand it a little bit more or have 2 for the general population and 2 for seniors, or try to work it out that way, whichever logistically I can handle.
Okay.
Excuse me, Dave, could we have Melanie send a thank you letter out to those folks that helped Anita so much?
I already took care of that, but
You did? Oh,
I'm so used to doing it.
Thank
myself.
you, and
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, and I got a lovely letter back from the central office.
Thank you
So
for
they
doing
like
that.
working with us. So, let's see. We're in a kind of like a little blackout period. I don't know if Rose is experiencing, but there's a little blackout period right now in terms of the data that we look at. M&M isn't available right now and stuff like that. But so for Massachusetts, I think we're gonna get all the data we need in order to do surveillance adequately. And hopefully the federal stuff will work its way out. But there are some concerns with the potential impact on public health federally. I want to just go on the record and say that I have access to the School of Public Health at Johns Hopkins and the Bloomberg School, and the Chan at Harvard, that have their own very excellent resources and data collection systems. So there's other ways to get that data that isn't customary for everybody, but they're available. I have used the Bloomberg one extensively
Yeah.
in my time. If you remember back in the COVID epidemic, there was like a clock of worldwide cases and deaths. That was the Bloomberg School providing that data.
Yep.
Because nobody else could get there self-organized. So I really respect their work. And I just feel it's important to know that there are other alternative services that we can get. We had a couple of calls, one seriously with a guy who's had a bird that was not doing so well in its flock and whatnot. And it opened up the conversation of, we did have information on our website and I do have brochures available for people. But his question was, what do I do with it? He thought it keeled over and died, but it didn't. It just kind of keeled over and his little daughter wanted him to try to keep working on it. And so I'm not sure what the outcome of that was,
Yeah.
but it was a small backyard flock that he had. And he did both dry and wet cleaning. He did a whole biosecurity thing. So I went to Sam and I said, what do you have for this? What would you tell somebody if they called you with this sort of stuff? So he goes, well, you know, and so he showed me the list of the barns that he does and the few chicken thingies that are in on that list,
Yeah,
but there's at least 50 more out there.
yeah, there's tons of them.
So, what I did was I called the, Department of Agricultural and talked to a veterinary epidemiologist there. And so I got some really fabulous information, and they said they should definitely report sick birds. Here's the number and here's the website.
Yeah.
So I got all of that. I gave it to Sam. I have it. And I asked the police to monitor that if they get any calls on their thing, to be sure to get it to either me or Sam, so that we can get in touch with these people and help them if they're not familiar with the cleaning
Right.
procedures, et cetera. So, it worked out really nice. I've had a secondary call to the guy. Everything
Good.
worked out good. And people have been very cooperative and,
Was it limited to that one bird?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And the other birds are fine. But he did all of the biosecurity stuff according to that. We know what they should clean with. We have that. So I gave Sam everything I had for his folder, and then I have a folder. So we're saying the same thing to people.
Do we have an animal control officer in town?
We
Police,
have one guy that's
Yeah.
covering for Sergeant who left.
right.
He doesn't really want the position, as I understand it, but he's, he does, as calls come in, mostly dog bites and stuff.
You guys see the stuff from DPH for ACOs?
Yeah, I
Yes.
did see that.
I
Yeah.
got it right here.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
I gave Sam a copy of this and I sent it to the police
Okay,
and I sent it to Sam.
Yeah.
And just said, I didn't, because whoever was covering over at the police station, so that they would have a copy of it as well.
Yeah.
So, but
So I've tried to keep us all in the loop. So whoever gets the call is saying the same thing or wants to turf it to someone else. So that we're at least communicating, because there are people out there that are asking, what do I do with a dead bird? What do I do if I find one?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And so there are some there's steps that we can tell them to do, that keeps them safe. There's a new, well, you probably checked the, egg prices have gone up sky high, meat prices are up high. It's just gonna go up pretty high. It's hitting the, economy already. So, and there's a new strain in, geese today, the H3, N9, I believe it is, H5N9 strain in California on a duck farm. So it's a brand new strain. It's a serious strain.
let's cut off.
It's one of,
With who?
it's one of the it has affected, it has
And
impacted
agents.
humans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so, it's a time where some of the epidemiologists are starting to get a little bit itchy. The thing is that
Starting, I've been getting itchy for weeks,
this
months.
bird
I know.
flu is an A influenza.
Yeah, I
And
know.
it can, it can connect with, and share its RNA with influenza A
Yeah.
for people.
Right.
Right.
It's-
And that's what makes it, so you just don't know when and if that's gonna happen and what kind of strain you're gonna get out of that.
Right. It is mutating.
It is, and it's happening a little bit faster. I think there's the data I have right now is 65 strains, 65 cases in the United States and only one death. So, most of it's been with the cow and the milk stuff, so we need to know about that kind of thing. But, it's ticking. So I would just,
I'm really concerned
I
about
pray,
what's going on federally because of this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
I'm sure you are. I
Um,
mean, anybody in public health, I think is, so.
Yeah, the good thing is we do have we know that some of the cases or most of the cases would, if within 3 days would respond to Tamiflu or amantadine, which is an antiviral. And we have a large federal stock of 125 million doses stockpiled.
But whether or not that comes down to everybody else.
Well, yeah, and we're not sure what the dose would be, like maybe you would get half, you'd get half of it, like 60 million doses out of it if you needed 2 shots, or
Right.
maybe you could get three times that out of it. Nobody really knows yet, but there is something. And there is a team in, I think it's Georgia, that's working on an mRNA version,
Yeah. And
because the influenza viruses are grown on eggs. And the egg shortage is going to play a role in the development of that vaccine.
they should be able to develop that, I would think, relatively quickly. Because
I hope so.
It's a flu vaccine and developing, and they've done the mRNA vaccine,
Not for influenza.
not for flu, but they have the experience of developing it.
Yeah.
My point.
Right, so
Um,
they're working like Dickens on that
yeah.
now, so there is it's encouraging, but it's still very nerve wracking.
I had an incident today, actually.
Oh,
It was a hawk in the person's yard and, he wasn't sure what the issue was. I'm not so sure if it was bird flu or not. It could have been rodent poison, you
Could have
know,
getting hit by a car too.
possibly, you know,
That
but
happens a lot.
he didn't know what to do. I had him report it. I called Mass Wildlife and they said, we don't want to know about one bird, 5 or more. That's the only calls we want is 5 or more. I said, report it anyway. I don't care what they said,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
at least
they
it's
can-
on.
they can Pick it up, in a bag,
Yeah.
invert a bag and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
said, wear a mask, wear
Yep, yep.
gloves,
I told him.
and, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah,
And,
you change your clothes, disinfect, do everything you can. Yeah, absolutely. That's what they said, right in the
Yeah.
trash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Double bag it in the trash. So,
Yeah. For incineration.
yeah, yep.
Well, that's all I got. Anybody have
Alright.
any questions or interested in anything or?
Well, you've made me happy. Thank you very much.
Underline that in the minutes.
Yeah, really.
I'll second.
I'm happy to.
You haven't made me nervous about anything, but so thanks.
Not yet. Maybe later.
Excellent.
And 6th on the agenda is the health agent update.
So I've had the meetings with the PHE every other week, trying to go over stuff with them. The doesn't appear that we're getting too far with that, so. But anyway, I attended the ADU seminar because that's going to be coming into effect on February 2nd.
Yep.
But I still have had no information from with regard to how we're going to go about this or how that's gonna be relevant to people that have septic systems. And so we're still waiting to hear back from them, and this is January 29th. So I guess we'll be doing things on our own. I know Sam is on the, he is attending some of the informational sessions.
Yeah.
So he was telling me that what they've been going through, and as long as our regulations are across the board, there's not too much that come into play as far as, so we can still keep the 150 gallons per bedroom that we've had in the past because it's across the board thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea on what's gonna happen with shared systems, or where they're going to be able to put them. So this is gonna be
Why is that occurring?
the ADUs are,
Right?
why is it occurring?
No, I think I understand because of the new law, February 1st.
Right.
Allows you to put the 900-foot, so.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just
Is that
like,
like an in-law? Is that?
Yeah.
it's just like any other thing, isn't it? They're gonna hook another bedroom to a
Well,
existing septic.
Well,
How are they gonna do that?
well, exactly. So I've had no response from DEP. And even at the seminar, they were saying that DEP kept saying that they were going to come out and give us guidance, but we haven't had any yet. So we're just kind of on our own. But whether or not a shared system is going to be applicable or is it going to be the way that they're doing it? One of the things that came up is that on the plan that was approved for this regulation was in the various ways that they could put an ADU on a piece of property. So it can be attached, it can be non-attached. It can be in a basement, it can be in above, like say if you have a garage, you can, have a unit up there as a ADU. So there's been really no guidance.
It shouldn't be put in effect without all the regulations and directions.
Oh, welcome to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
These happen.
Yes, yes. This is not the first time that the state has said to boards of health, here, deal with this, and we're just gonna take a step back. So
Sounds like some lawyers might have a field day.
that's what we're waiting for. So I'm sure there's going to be quite a few things that there's going to have that are going to be appealed. So we'll just have to wait and see. what's going on with that one. Other than that, I've been going back out and doing food inspections again. And then working on the Board of Health, regulations for, updates, and then, animals and chickens and other fun things like that. Melanie was working on the, mattress.
Oh, right.
You should fill them in.
So a couple of residents came in and were disappointed that our website isn't accurate according to how you can dispose of a mattress, because there's just really nothing there that says,
Take it to Mellow.
Yeah. more or
Yeah.
less, or, get a sticker from Waste Management.
well, wait.
I thought
Oh, they
Waste
won't take them,
Management
that's
did
right, yes, yep.
Well, first of all, the website's going to be changing, July 1st. So Rebecca doesn't want to change too much on the current website until we can speak to the new vendor. Because there could be some language that would clarify it for residents, so they're not kind of lost when they're looking at the website.
Okay.
Shouldn't you direct those questions from those people to Rebecca? Seeing how we don't know what to do, let Rebecca deal with it.
Well, I researched, I know what the options are, but it's a matter of getting that information to people. So I've thought about putting something in the Council of Aging newsletter. The deadline is February 5th, so if people agree, I can put like,
I'm fine with that.
But there's a company that.
but back, so.
Tough stuff.
Well, so back to, so people have options for drop off. They don't have options for pickup for mattresses. So UTech, I spoke to UTech and they are willing to do, a monthly pickup in Groveland. So it might be like, I don't know, the first Monday or the whatever day they choose. And it would be $40 an item, that the resident would pay directly to UTech. So we have a contract, but Rebecca has to review the contract and decide if we're going to accept it. There's no other cost.
That's great.
That sounds very reasonable.
But UTech also did say that it's a trial run, so if we don't have enough volume, would they be willing to reduce it to a bi-monthly or a quarterly? I'm not sure about that. They were just saying we're gonna test it out and see what happens.
I think if you look around, you might find some information that Laurie had from a company called Tough Stuff Recycling. They were the only game only game in around for a long time that did mattress recycling.
Yeah.
Problem is, on the day it's going out, they're collecting. If it's raining, they have to be in bags. So is UTech gonna provide the bag? I know Tough Stuff provided bags, but they were $5 a piece, so people would have to buy the bag.
UTech did not indicate that. I inquired about UTech because I live in Haverhill and that's what we have and
Yeah.
recycle mattresses with them. They do not dispose of the mattresses. They recycle, I think it's no less than 80% of it. So
Yeah.
whether it's wet or not, I don't know. They did not give guidelines about that.
I'd be curious. Listen, it doesn't matter to me.
I can
one way or
send
the
you
other.
the contract if you'd like to look at it.
Yeah, I'd just be curious because I'm pretty sure if the mattress is wet, then it becomes harder to recycle. So I'd just be curious how they go about that. If it's like a pouring rainy day out and somebody puts a mattress out and it's not wrapped up in plastic or something to keep it from getting wet. But
I'll look at the contract.
if they're gonna do it, so I'm all for getting curbside collection of some sort. Because I've been talking about this for 3 years.
No, and I know that. And the gentleman who was very kind to like update me on his situation, he came in, he was frustrated, understandably so. And, if he got a truck and brought them to Mellows, it was gonna be $150.
That's why I didn't go to Mellow.
Yeah, so he did use, I can't remember the exact name. I think it's now called it's a combination of two, like college hunks and then something
Oh, yeah.
else. And,
One call.
but they're actually the ones that would be contracted by UTech.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so UTech would actually hire them to come to Groveland and do a route once a month. So this gentleman who came in, he used them and I think he said it was around that price, but they picked him up at least. He didn't have to get them
It still cost them $150.
close to that, I
Yeah.
think. And I had called a couple places and it was gonna be around that price.
It's too bad.
Yeah, I mean,
That's why I refused to go to Mellow. My son got married It'll be 2 years in August, but he got married and moved out, and the bed sat in my back family room for months. And my brother, who lives in Derry, New Hampshire, said, "Oh, we have a town waste day. You just sign up and they'll put whatever you want out on, and they'll pick it, whatever it is." He said, "Bring it up." So I brought it up, he put it out, and they took it away, and it cost me nothing.
I also forgot to mention, UTech actually has a drop-off center in Lawrence. So you can drop off mattresses on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 7:30 and 2:30. I think it's $35 a piece.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of UTech because they have a good mission.
I'm all for whatever the resident,
Yeah.
that benefits the residents of this community. I really am. So whatever it
Yep.
takes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Rebecca's looking at the contract and she's gonna get back to me, but
Yeah. if-
at least it's something,
Yeah.
something,
Right,
Thanks, Phil.
yeah.
yeah. No, I think it was a,
Absolutely.
I did see that
Good
there was
idea.
something, but I feel like when I looked online and, or I don't know if I sent an email or inquired, but it looked like maybe they weren't coming to this area anymore. Would that have changed? I don't know.
I know initially they weren't coming to this area, but when I had asked Laurie to look into it probably 1.5 years, 2 years ago now. No, it was probably because you were still on the trash and recycling committee, because I came with that information to one of those meetings. Probably 1 year ago, they said that they would start coming to Groveland, so, who knows, it could have changed.
Rebecca was a little surprised that UTech was willing to come because she said in the past, they also were not willing to come.
I think anything that they're gonna make money on, they're willing to come for,
Well,
if
I
it's,
think-
if it's beneficial.
Well, right,
Financially.
they explained that this would, the contract assumes they're gonna be able to collect a certain number of mattresses. And if that doesn't happen, then we would have to revisit that contract.
So we just have to be able to publicize the fact that
Right.
people don't have to drive over to Mellow, pay 150 to get
Right.
rid of a mattress and box spring or whatever, and they can get rid of it here for 40 a unit.
right, so we could put it on the website, and
Yeah.
Melanie had the idea of putting it in the COA too,
Yeah.
so maybe people can, get
Absolutely.
it out there as much as we can.
Are we able to, if you put it on the council on aging, to implement it, that it will be in effect? Because it's kind of like the state has done. They haven't given us all.
Yeah, I don't wanna publicize
Oh,
it if we don't have.
right,
the
exactly.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
Right,
we'll have to
so
wait.
Rebecca's got to approve.
correct.
Yes,
All right,
yep,
all right.
yep, so we have to wait.
Deadline for the newsletter, for the March, April newsletters, February 5th, but I can ask them if they have any wiggle room on that. And we could also distribute flyers around the town.
Yeah.
Yep,
I mean,
I'm fine with that,
yep,
whatever it takes.
Whatever we had, yeah, exactly.
I forgot about that. Thanks, Rosemary.
you're welcome.
Anything else?
That's all I have. We just been doing it as much as we can, so. It's that
Thank
time of
you.
year, it's a little bit slower, so we can catch up on some other stuff at this time of year, so, which is always a good thing, but
I wish that were the case.
in,
Salem.
yeah, for us, no, January is usually a pretty slow month,
It's
so,
been a little quiet.
yeah, that's right.
What
So,
did you say, Anita?
Yeah,
yeah, so we,
but it's a good time to go through your files.
yeah, we can get.
Clean
some
things
done.
out and reorganize and,
Yep.
shred and do all that kind of
Yep.
stuff. That's what I do when it's downtime. And I study.
Yep.
Read. So much to read.
Stop reading about the bird flu, will you?
Yeah.
She can't
I
help
love this stuff.
it.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion.
You did
Adjourn.
to me.
I'll second that.
Make a motion.
Can I make an emotion to adjourn?
In a-
Emotion, what, an emotion?
7:10.
7:10.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
thank you, everybody. I
Carry.
appreciate you all.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, I'll find out about,